will come in today, as we will be doing a live demo. Welcome to this webinar on the future of System Center with NiCE IT Management Solutions and Kelverion. My name is David Worcester. I'm going to be your host for this session. And today joining me, I have Christian Heidkamp and Greg Charman, both evangelists from their own areas, specialists from the worlds of monitoring and automation, specifically deep expertise in Operations Manager and System Center Orchestrator. And I guess the reason for today's call is that System Center in its current suite state has been around since 2012. And now since 2024 or the end of 2024, we have System Center 2025. So we thought it was appropriate to look into the future and see how we see System Center developing forward with partner support. And to let you know that NiCE and Kelverion are partnering more extensively today to support the System Center customer base. The latest partnership step forward, shall we say, in the relationship between Kelverion and NiCE is that Kelverion has taken over as the lead distributor in North America for all NiCE IT Management Solutions products. Still supported by NiCE directly from their development teams, but Kelverion has invested in North America further to enable us to take that relationship forward. Where Microsoft, you may see Microsoft dropping support for certain features in System Center. We hope to show you today how partners, including NiCE and Kelverion, are stepping in to fill that particular gap. So today's session, we have a question box you'll see in the GoToWebinar control panel. If you have a question, and please submit questions, you've got the opportunity to dig into many, many years of experience with both Christian and Greg. We'll either take the questions during the session, but we do have a Q&A section at the end for maybe some of the broader, more challenging questions I'm sure we're going to have thrown at us on this session. So Greg, if you'd like to put up the agenda, please. Very straightforward agenda, brief introduction to both parties. We're then, Christian's going to go into Operations Manager and look at what we see as the future there, what is coming downstream, what is there already. Greg will do the same for Orchestrator from a Kelverion perspective. We'll then have a demo which will look at how working together we can deliver greater value or help you deliver greater value from your System Center investment. And then we'll wrap it up at the end and finish with your questions. So that's probably enough from me. I'd like to kick the session off. And Greg, you're taking over next.
Handing it, so Christian is going to come talk about NiCE, and then I will talk about Kelverion. So yes, thank you very much, David. So yeah, for those of you not familiar with Kelverion, so Kelverion have been around since 2010. We are the Microsoft automation experts. We've been working with Orchestrator since its inception. We also work with Azure Automation, Power Automate, and Logic Apps, so the full suite of automation platforms from the Microsoft stable. We've got a global customer reach. We've got operations in the US and the EMEA region and customers around the world. And we have expertise in SCOM, SCCM, Virtual Machine Manager, and Orchestrator, and then all of the other Microsoft automation tools. So it was a natural fit with us working with NiCE to support them with their management packs and everything else. And our expertise in SCOM is obviously supported and exceeded by all of the expertise that the guys in NiCE have got around all of the management packs and operations. So it was a natural fit with us to be able to work with them around Operations Manager and other things. So that's who Kelverion are. And now I'll hand you over to Christian.
Thank you very much, Greg, for the introduction. Yes, I'm pleased to introduce you today what we're doing at NiCE. So, and as already was mentioned before by David and Greg, we're doing this jointly together. We are both part of the System Center portfolio of the suite and complementing the solutions. So NiCE is around since many years, since 91, basically delivering various services in the area of monitoring and as well as software. So we build primarily management packs for System Center Operations Manager. I'll do this since over 20 years. And yes, I can actually give a lot of details here as well, but we'll try to keep it to the point, especially in the demo part, showing some integrations between both our solutions. We are headquartered in Germany. That's why we have some operations in various places. And as already David mentions, the US sales is being covered by Kelverion as a distributor in the North American region. And the rest of the world in all the other regions, basically, we have direct sales or working with partners. With that, that's basically a short introduction to give it the point, to not spare us too much time from the demo, but please put the next slide up. So I just want to talk a bit about the System Center lifecycle, and obviously that affects all of us. It's just like a few dates you should keep in mind when you're working with System Center, which all of you do. So, and in the end, Microsoft deprecates support over time. There's extended support on the latest and the other releases. So many talk about 2016, 2019. 2019 went out of mainstream support a while ago. 2022 is the release most of our customers are on, but 2025 is the platform many currently migrate to. As we know, the System Center is going along with the Windows Server, and as we are working closely with Microsoft, we also understand their ecosystem, how Windows Server and System Center will tag along for the future. I think that's a short overview of the lifecycle, and please go on. And I want just to do a quick overview of the portfolio. This is basically what we're doing every day, in the morning, in the evening, during the day with our development team. We develop a number of application monitoring management packs. We have a global support team. We have a large range of customers in many different regions. Probably the most important ones on here are our database monitoring platforms like Oracle and DB2 and Mongo, Maria, and other databases, plus then the hypervisor monitoring with VMware that is on there. And Citrix is also part of that. We do have in the first line here the Microsoft 365 ecosystem for monitoring, where we monitor like Microsoft Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive from an active perspective. So we really actively probe from a syntactical approach to monitor those services that are available and working. But we recently added this NetApp as a storage area, so we do monitor the storage areas, plus a number of specialty systems like IBM Power, and that's also a history we come from everything that is on Linux systems, also other Unix-based systems we do monitor. We have a couple of freemium or free management packs that can be used, which is the log file management pack. The log file management pack is a free offer you can download on our portal. It's been having over hundreds, like many hundreds of installations currently, and we're actually releasing this month an updated version for that, so you can stay tuned. We demo that later in the SCOM-a-thon. The SCOM-a-thon is basically the annual meeting of all things SCOM online, which is organized by our partner SquareUp, and that will happen on the 29th of April. So if you want to know more, and it's a whole day full of SCOM session that's coming up on the 29th, so I'm happy to refer you to that one. With that, I think I gave a short overview of our portfolio. It says also Azure Monitoring in this title, so all our products are not only dedicated to integrate with SCOM. We can integrate them with other solutions as well, because our customer often require that we are kind of flexible with the monitoring solution, especially if they're moving from SCOM to Azure monitoring or even another solution. We typically can migrate the application monitoring we do into other solutions as well.
Oh, thank you, Christian. So with that, I can pick up on where we are with Orchestrator with Kelverion. So Kelverion have been supporting Orchestrator since 2010. A number of us were actually with Aparlis, which was the company that Microsoft acquired in 2010 and rebadged as Orchestrator. And as Christian has said about building management packs for SCOM, well, Kelverion extend Orchestrator in the same way to add a number of functions. The first one we do is we add integrations into Orchestrator that Microsoft don't cover. So key ones at the moment, Microsoft do have a VMware integration pack, but it doesn't support the latest versions. And I know that there's been a number of API changes with VMware, so we have an integration that supports VMware 9. We're currently just about to release an ARIA operations, what was formerly known as VROps integration, so that we'll be able to pull alerts and information out of ARIA operations and other things like service desks. Key one, the big one from the service desk point of view is ServiceNow. But we have lots of different service desk integrations within our platforms. The other thing we do is we build requests for deprecated functions, things that Microsoft or other third parties used to produce for Orchestrator that have gone away. So we also work with them. So we've got customers asking, working with somebody at the moment on a secure FTP integration pack, because that's no longer available from Microsoft. We've added functions in, so a number of customers who want to work with managed identities for SQL Server authentication, particularly when working with the cloud. So Azure as a service database and similar, they want managed identity support because basic auth is no longer acceptable, nor can they use SQL auth, which was the default for Azure databases. So we've building and adding that into our Orchestrator set, and then we've got a number of customers who are looking at secure PowerShell execution, where they want to tie it into identity security platforms. So go out to a security identity platform like CyberArk or Azure Key Vault, pull out the credentials for talking to a particular machine, and then use those credentials within a secure PowerShell execution. So taking automation and automation integration and tying it directly into their identity security platform and mechanisms for running automation within the system. So we're doing quite a lot to support Orchestrator with new capabilities and integrating into where customers are now going with System Center, and providing backward support for other pieces. So things I say like the secure FTP, we've got data manipulation and text manipulation integrations that replace some of the old open source Codeplex type IPs that some people who've got Orchestrator 2019 are still good in their environment. They don't exist for 2022 and 2025. So we help them migrate those over as well. The other thing we have for Orchestrator is we have an automation portal, so a self-service request front end for Orchestrator. We've had that for about 6 or 7 years now. In that, that portal has been extended out to support any other automation tool, so we can pull in, we can basically take requests and then trigger other automation platforms. Directly triggering into Orchestrator, Azure Automation, but we can trigger any other automation tool that supports webhooks. So we're tying into things like Red Hat Ansible. You can tie into Puppet and Chef and these other automation platforms. We can even call existing PowerShell scripts that you might have and wrap them into an execution. So a request in the portal could trigger the smart execution of a PowerShell script and then return dates back to the portal. And maintaining our ongoing support for Orchestrator. We're soon to update the portal to include reporting, to extend the reporting capability in the portal to report on automation platform response, and we're adding in there being able to see the runbook execution from your Orchestrator platform. So which runbooks have ran, which ones failed, which ones succeeded. So you actually have a reporting capability to be able to see that on a dashboard and reports view of how well your Orchestrator system is actually operating through our automation portal. But not only do we do integrations, we also do automation solutions to help Orchestrator deliver functions and capabilities. And the top solution for people who are using SCOM is our incident ticket creation and automated resolution. So this is
Yeah, Greg, just
yes.
want to add to that. So because thanks for putting this up right on the top. So because definitely our customers are using a Kelverion solution, a specialty integration to ServiceNow, which you have shown on the first slide. So thank you. Please continue.
Yep. So yeah, it's a solution that we've had since about 2012 that we've updated and enhanced over the years. So picking up alerts of Operations Manager, and now it will actually, you can build rules in that says, based on this alert, which support team in your service desk do you want to raise this ticket for? But the automated resolution goes, if you know what team it is that you want to raise that ticket for, you probably won't know what the first line remediation is. So we can run diagnostics and remediation fixes on that. And when we go through the demo section, Christian's actually going to be doing things with Operations Manager and generating alerts and things, and we'll see incident tickets get created and then the automation actually running remediation tasks. So that is the big use case that we've had for people with Operations Manager. But we've got a number of other things that we do. So closely followed by the alerting is virtual machine provisioning and management. So automating provisions of VMware, Hyper-V, Amazon EC2, Microsoft Azure VMs, all through an orchestrator-driven platform. So you can have a self-service front end, either through your service desk or through our automation portal that drives through that virtual machine provisioning. We've done a number of automated patching solutions for customers. So wrapping SCCM into a managed patch deployment and things so that you can have server owners define patch windows and patch management as to when things should get patched and when they shouldn't. And then we can automate the SCCM to go and do its job and report back statuses and success for change management in the service desk and other things. So a fully end-to-end change management process with the service desk. And similar, CMDB population, got a service desk, it's supposed to have a CMDB, but it's got no data in it, or we manually load it. Well, things like Operations Manager and other tools have a load of asset information that already exists because they're monitoring stuff. So if it's there, it should be in a CMDB, and we know what its IP address is, we know what its host name is, all that sort of thing. So we can pull all of that information in and push that in to the service desk through Orchestrator, and then employee onboarding and offboarding. The bane of many IT teams' lives of creating AD accounts, Office 365, email addresses, Teams phone numbers, AD group memberships and everything else based on teams and roles. All of that we can automate through the Orchestrator system. So a rich tapestry of capabilities that we can offer with the automation. And as Christian has alluded to with their management packs for other platforms and systems, we have integrations to tie not only into Operations Manager, but our incident ticket creation solutions. We've already extended that out for a number of people to include not just Operations Manager, but SolarWinds, VROps, Nagios XI. So completely, as you're adding and monitoring systems and capabilities between us and NiCE, we can support you as you grow out your monitoring across multiple platforms and migrate. Yes.
I can just confirm that because especially if something isn't on that long list, so Kelverion has been very helpful also to create solutions that are a bit out of the, let's say, regular enterprise setup. Sometimes you have that old environment, that old application that you still need to integrate. So yeah, I just can confirm that Greg and his team really been helpful also to get those into the automation piece.
Yep. And all of our solutions integrations are also available for Azure automation. So if you're looking beyond Orchestrator as to what's next, or you haven't doing a great deal with Orchestrator today, but you've got Operations Manager, then you have the option to be using Azure Automation, the automation as a service capability from Microsoft. And everything we do for Orchestrator, we can do for Azure and take you on and beyond as well. Like Christian, we have a whole range of integrations into other things. So the whole Microsoft suite around Microsoft 365, anything else in Azure, integrations, Exchange Online, Dynamics, Teams, those sort of things. Multiple service desks, so Atlassian, BMC Helix, Ivanti, ServiceNow, SolarWinds, Salesforce, so a whole raft of service desk integrations, and then other supporting around the cloud, so Entra ID, Microsoft's Azure Cloud Facilities, Amazon EC2, and going on into the virtualization platforms around VMware and similar, so that we can actually provide rich, ongoing supported VMware integrations for the Orchestrator platform. So that's what we do. Now what Christian and I are going to do is actually show you how some of this actually works. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing and hand the screen over to Christian to actually lead you through Operations Manager and demos and show you how some of the automation happens as an Operations Manager magically in the background.
Yes, wonderful, Greg.
So
Perfect.
let me stop sharing.
I took the sharing already.
Okay,
so,
brilliant.
I just grabbed it.
Yeah.
Super. All right. So I will go through a number of management packs here to give you a bit of an understanding why we really building on top of this framework and investing in this. So in the past, Microsoft has added a number of monitoring capabilities to the System Center platform in the Operations Manager, but over the years, there has not been many new features and functionalities being added. So it's basically left to the customer or the partner to basically add those. In this specific case, we have added the Oracle monitoring, where we build basically a dashboard, including all the specific monitoring of an Oracle database. So in this case, I will just shut down a database. Basically simulating this scenario that there's a problem in our production environment. So that basically means, for example, the database becomes unavailable, and for example, also the front end, the IIS presentation web server becomes unavailable, and we'll also have some parts of the monitoring of the VMware environment which goes south, and we have a virtual machine that needs running, but it's not running anymore. So, so first in this case, we shut down the database now in the backend. We are shutting down now the web server and also a virtual machine that will be taken offline, which should be online. While that is happening, I will guide you a bit through the monitoring pieces here we have. So in Oracle, we have not only the standard Oracle monitoring, but we monitor also the complex enterprise scenarios like data guard, active data guard environments, real application clusters, so with different RAC 1 node and multi-node clusters, and including all the additional components like the observer and other components that are part of the Oracle environment, including the ASM, the automatic storage management, that is also part of the monitoring. So everything basically flows into this via this management pack and can be mapped to an enterprise application. So we have a view of the entire application with its components. In this case, you see it's sitting on a Linux system here, and the monitoring is either available for Linux or Windows. So we actually see it just turned red. So because we shut down the database, you see actually should just come in. There comes in the Oracle instances down. I don't actually want that to happen too long, so I'll start it back up. So so it should get actually back into monitoring. However, if an incident occurs and something goes down, how nice would it be actually to automatically do these steps? So that's where actually the work together with Kelverion comes into play. So where we actually say, if something is broken, we don't want a person to actually go and remediate things, but we want to have an automation for that. So this type of action we'll actually do for the IIS server. So we actually put one in here. So we have like the alert of the web server that has become unavailable. It's been shut down. But here actually we got a ticket number that's been processed in the background by the Kelverion Orchestrator system with its integration packs. And in a moment, actually, it would start that server back online, and without any interaction of somebody's doing that manually. While we're waiting for this to happen, actually, we'll go a bit to hypervisor monitoring. To monitor the hypervisor, we have the VMware vSphere management pack, but we also can provide monitoring for other hypervisors like PowerVM or Xen, or we are also looking in the Panic solution. So if you have a question on that, feel free to reach out to us. So here we basically discovered the data centers. So we have 2 data centers basically that are part of the monitoring. Then we have the ESXi hosts here that are part of our here demo environment, like the 5 like hosts that where all of their workflows are running, including the virtual machines. And then we do have the virtual machines which are discovered and running in this environment. So each virtual machine, for example, has a specific monitoring. So the monitoring basically here is that we have availability monitoring and the performance monitoring. In this case, we typically do not require a virtual machine to be running because we don't know if your virtual machines need to be run or not. However, we have a couple of virtual machines that are critical in our environment, and we said we would actually like to have them configured to be always running. So in this case, we actually can go in this configuration area. We see here we actually have it switched on, and we have it switched on for a specific configuration. So we have a group of VMs that must be running. So that's a manual group in SCOM. So everything that must be running is basically kept into this group. And if we actually go in there and stop one of those virtual machines now, let's say these are the 3 virtual machines, and I'm going to just stop this virtual machine now here, and it's a demo environment, so I can just do a hard stop without proper shutting it down. So I go in here and should be off in a second here. So we see it now, it's off. And we'll go back into the alert view, the very top, looking at the active alerts. We'll see actually the event already arrived. So, and you might wonder why is that so fast? Because some of you might have heard like that kind of real-time monitoring with SCOM is kind of difficult to achieve because we typically have a schedule. We run like in a minute or 1 minute interval where we do actually monitor. But in this case, the VMware management pack is based on events. That means if an event is triggered from the VM, where we pick up this event and do an update in SCOM immediately. So it's basically real-time monitoring in this case. So if it's stopped, like within seconds later, the alert and the state change is created. So here in this case, we got the critical alert that this virtual machine that actually should be running is now on, and you get the ticket number here so that the automatic remediation in the background can actually be started. So that's actually what is happening now. So we'll in the background starting that VM now, and the alert should be closed in a moment. At the same time, we see that the two other alerts we have earlier see about the IIS servers being disappearing. And they went to the here they are. So they are actually went to the closed alerts now and are gone from the active alerts. They are not available there anymore. So that's basically all part of the remediation. So which is great to show you in a moment.
Your virtual machine should be running, Christian.
Oh, right. Oh, it should, because you see, without I didn't do anything and the alert disappeared. So let me actually go back to the virtual center, and we see, yep, it is back running, because it was so great. I was just going to do this again. So I'm going to kill one of my virtual machines here, which is part of this group. So I take another one. I take the number 40 and kill it. Wait until this is shut down here, until it's off. So it's still on. It takes a moment, even with a hard stop. Now it's off. It will create like this event. We should see here the power off event is hard stop virtual machine, which is then picked up by SCOM, and you already see it in here. Like within seconds later, number 40 is basically alerted as SCOM. Now, actually, it takes a moment with some processing time to allow to not go in endless cycles to get the ticket, and then the ticket be worked on and then bring it back on. So we can watch that for a moment. So on the virtual machine or hypervisor monitoring, we have really a lot of information. So the management pack has really like a large number of performance counters and monitors, over 150 altogether. So we can get all to the details, including detailed reporting, performance data, alerting, and configuration. So that is all part of this management pack. It comes out of the box. And whatever you take as a monitor, we include something called product knowledge. So in case for those who are not so familiar with what it actually means, or what a specific monitor is doing. For example, if we have, for example, shell interactive timeout for disabled monitor, these are security monitors where we actually check the hardening of your environment. So they're focused entirely on security and hardening monitoring in your VMware environment. So in case something is basically not according to the best practice from Broadcom/VMware, we actually deliver predefined management pack, and that will alert. Being it like, for example, a password policy that's not correctly set, if you're using unsigned software in your environment, or if the lockdown monitor is not enabled as it should be, it will give you a warning, and you can take care of it. Or if you deem it as okay, then you can basically just disable the monitor. Mm-hmm. So that is just a little overview of all the monitors we have. So I will not go into much further detail, but I will go shortly also, Greg.
Yeah, no, it's done. Your alert has been closed and the VM has been restarted. Yes, okay. Yes. Yeah.
Let's see, actually, yes. It disappeared, and the machine is, I suppose, back and running. Yes, it's back and running. So,
yes.
So how do I keep that it's not coming back on? I think I often have to call you. Otherwise, it keeps going on. Yeah. So the other thing, I could take it out of the group. For example, you see others are off. They're not getting started. They're not part of that group. And then maybe it's worth quickly showing this. For there are many on who are not so familiar with SCOM, so you can actually go in here in the authoring area. We have this group here. We can actually look for a group that for the VMs that must be running. Here we actually have like the explicit members, and actually we see these VMs being part of that. So for those we have basically this automatic workflow enabled to restart them. So with that, I think I will quickly come to an end to keep also some space for Greg, for you to do some demo and to show actually what is happening in the background. And please, again, go to the question area, and this is also your session, right? So feel free to put some questions into the chat, and we'll address them. We'll address them later in when we get towards the end of the call.
Okay, thank you, Christian. Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is for those of you who aren't familiar, this is System Center Orchestrator. And this is where we can view and see what is happening with the automation. And this is what's actually running in the background of that logic, doing all those clever things that Christian has just been demonstrating. So we have what we call a runbook solution, and it covers a number of bits. The first thing it's doing is watching Operations Manager for new alerts. And when we pick up those new alerts, so as Christian demonstrated with those VMware restarting the VMware, and there were some database alerts, when we pick them up, we process them, and I can go off and create multiple tickets depending on what service desk you're using. The one we were doing in there is we're actually going off and creating ServiceNow incident tickets, and putting all of those sort of alert information, so the team and which assignee, which support team gets that incident ticket based on rules that we've got. That's all database driven and configurable, so you can actually define which rules and the logic, the urgency, and then we can build up work notes and descriptions based on the information that comes out of the ticket. So we're doing things like the description from the operations manager alert goes in to say, this is what SCOM says this issue is. So it is in that case, a VMware failure alert. We need to do something about that, and then we can build up more information with work notes and similar descriptions to actually go, the computer, this particular machine has not worked, and here's the description of what was said, and then the rule that we're going to run, and the description, so we can add in some helpful information into the incident ticket, and the fact that we're going to run diagnostics or remediation actions. And then we have rules set up to say, when you see particular alerts, not only do you raise tickets, but then what do you do? And we have some remediation actions that are configured. And what actually happened with Christian's two alerts that generated to here, you can see we picked them up at approximately 4:28 local time, and 4:33 local time is when those alerts were generated from or picked up from Operations Manager. We raised an incident ticket, we picked that up and we processed them, and then the first VM was started just under 2 minutes later, and the second VM again took about 2 minutes afterwards to we've picked up the alert, we've created the incident ticket, we've told you we're going to remediate it, and we've run this remediation runbook to basically make sure that it's still a valid fault. So Operations Manager has said it stopped. It could have just been going through a reboot or some, but we know it's a hard shutdown, but we double check. What does VMware say that ticket is doing? If it is definitely powered off, then we restart it. We wait for that restart, check the status, and then we complete that process, so we can then go back and update the incident ticket to say we've restarted it and it's resolved. So that then loops back round. There's a full end-to-end feedback. So not do we pass back into Operations Manager the fact that we created an incident ticket. When that incident ticket is resolved in the service desk, we go back in and look at the type of alert that was generated in Operations Manager. And if it was a rules-based alert, we go and close the alert. If it's a monitor, we just leave it, and Operations Manager will detect the fact that the issue has been resolved and clear that monitor alert out. So we've got a full end-to-end bi-directional interface that's happening within this automation. And that's tying into Operations Manager, but as I said, we've got integrations, as you can see down the left-hand side, for lots of other service desks and platforms that we can tie into, and we can use things we've done. Historically, we've done things with Cisco Prime. We've got integrations into Nagios XI, SolarWinds for alert monitoring, and the new one that we're just added in is for VMware ARIA operations. So we can do the same thing here, is that we can monitor ARIA operations, formerly known as VROps, But we can do that the same way we're monitoring Operations Manager. We can monitor VROps for alerts and do things. So if you are using Operations Manager and you've got VMware and you've probably got the VMware cloud and possibly having our EROps running as well, we can use information that only it knows about the underlying VROps, the VMware infrastructure, i.e. host, ESX host issues or data pool issues or things like that, that VROps will alert on, and we can actually pull all that in and automate incident ticket creation and even remediation into the VMware infrastructure, so you can do whole end-to-end monitoring and alerting for all of your platforms and similar. And we've got a number of customers who've got very old legacy systems. I've got a couple of ones who used to have things like IBM Tivoli Tech, which would generate alerts on a TCP port. We have a network messaging IP that we've used for a number of people, where we can make Orchestrator appear to be a legacy monitoring platform listening on a particular TCP port. And when that system spurts out an alert and sends it to what it thought was Tivoli Tech or Netcall Omnibus or something like that, we can actually have Orchestrator pretending to be those old platforms, pick up that alert and then push it through to into your new monitoring system or directly into your service desk for an instant ticket management process. So it's very, very rich what we can do with Orchestrator and allowing you to extend and grow out your monitoring both today and in the future with enhancements and updates and monitoring within the an automation from Orchestrator and Operations Manager between ourselves and NiCE. So very rich capability that we can deliver with as two parties working together, and the functionality that we're doing as System Center partners to extend and fill in the gaps that Microsoft are leaving within the System Center environments to help you grow and manage your platforms going forward. So from a demonstration point of view, that was what we were going, that Chris and I were going to show you what can do, and that if you'd like to see some more, we'd be happy to go through and demonstrate some more. What I want to do now is to actually engage with yourselves and get a view of which tools and capabilities you're using, just to get a view of where we are. So I'm going to see if I can get the polls function of GoToWebinar to ask you some questions. So what you'll have is option to engage with this poll to see different versions. So versions of SCOM you're using, and if you're using Orchestrator, which ones you've got. So you should be able to have multiple votes on the system.
Yeah, so thanks, Greg. Let me also comment while this poll is running. So we'll probably let it run for a bit over a minute here. And very important, we'll actually share the results back that you can actually see a bit of what people on this call are voting here. So and you see already the results coming in, so that is great. So and we'll take some bets, but yeah, it's yeah. Let's see what's the most common platform, right? So Greg, do you still see some question for me? Do you still see some customers using like pre-2016 System Center deployments?
Yes. I'm currently working with a customer at the moment who has 2012 R2 of SCOM and Orchestrator.
Quite a dinosaur, I'd say.
Yes. They have some legacy systems that we're actually actively working with them to migrate from 2012 into 2025, so a major upgrade and platform. And ironically, they had a requirement for HP ILO monitoring, which was something that isn't no longer available for SCOM. Funnily enough, my partner at NiCE said, we can do that. So we've got a HP ILO management pack that is being built out for that customer. So yep, so it's good. But I've got some other customers that we did last year on migrations from 2016 and 2019 of Orchestrator, and I've got at least, I'm already in discussions with 2 more customers at the moment for helping them migrate from Orchestrator 2019 into 2020. Well, we're going straight to 2025 because one of them is not using SCOM at the moment. Well, their SCOM platform will actually move to 2025, so that was interesting.
Okay,
Orchestrator and Orchestrator 2019 and SCOM 2025. Get that one past Microsoft support. Anyway,
super. I think there's more room for migration support. Let's share the results back to the audience, please.
Yep, absolutely. There we go.
Exactly. So, and yeah, we see, and that's actually for let me just comment on SCOM. So that's actually also what we see. So as I already mentioned this in the beginning, even before the poll, like 2022 is currently the platform of choice because 2025 has some things that are not part of the not part anymore. So especially to Linux distribution, there's one management pack what we provide, which is for Unix environments for AIX that was part of 2019 but got deprecated in 2022. So we basically agreed with Microsoft to step in there and provide that support for the Unix AIX environment to monitor. So we have brought that management pack to market basically to continue for those customers to support it, those that are needing that. Same applies to Linux. We're providing Linux on other platforms than x86 with our management packs, so that which was also an earlier version part of 2019, but also got deprecated. So just about where we're filling in gaps, and yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. I'm conscious of time, guys. So we can get on to questions. Does that complete your sessions?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Christian and Greg, for your insights and the integrated demo. As Greg said, if you'd like to see that in more detail, if you'd like to explore any of that, please reach out and we'd be more than delighted to walk you through that. I think today what we're really trying to show you is that as a key takeaway that System Center does have a future. Christian intimated that we haven't seen the end of System Center releases. We'll say nothing more to that, but you know, the mapping to Windows Server seems to be very much ingrained. The other key message really is that we're investing in System Center, but with investment protection. So we do recognize there are other solutions out there. Customers may require other systems rather than just System Center to use. So for Christian and his colleagues at NiCE, that means building that monitoring intelligence that's provided through that application monitoring separately, so you have the opportunity to feed that into a system of choice. A key example of that today is feeding Azure Monitor rather than SCOM for managing Microsoft 365 events and that intelligence. And Greg covered with Kelverion, it means things like being able to support exactly the same capability on Azure Automation. If you're moving more to a cloud environment or you want to monitor more cloud, or running multiple automation platforms, as we see in a lot of customers. And then the automation portal, which was originally built to drive Orchestrator, now allows you driving not just Azure Automation, but any automation tool, including adding compliance to all your PowerShell scripts. No longer was it run, who ran it, what were the results. You can manage all of that now from the portal. And it's not just one or, you can do all of these things at the same time if that best meets your operational environment. So today, really what I'd like to do is invite all the existing Kelverion customers to view the NiCE offerings, see the intelligence that we see in the NiCE products, and see how they can work together with the automation to enhance value, and vice versa. All of the NiCE customers, hopefully you've seen some of the value that Kelverion can provide in enabling things within Orchestrator. And I think all of this really is to drive to give you greater value in System Center and do it at speed rather than having very long scale projects. So doing it at speed. And we think this closer working relationship that we have between NiCE and Kelverion, and obviously with our background partner there with Microsoft, with the System Center suite, really is a key benefit in helping you maximize your System Center investment. So with that, I'd like to open the floor to questions. If there are any more, please put them into the question panel. I have got some, I think the right word is humdingers for you, which I'm going to quite pleased to actually ask both of our presenters. And I'd love to hear their responses. So the first one is, and I don't know who wants to take this, but what is the real future for System Center?
Go on, Christian. I'll let you go first.
Let me take this for a moment. So, yeah. Well, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's like we are quite closely working together with the program management team, with Ashish and the others in India who developed the System Center portfolio and the suite. And so we have some information, but it's always be careful to what to share here because there are NDA agreements in place. But I think what is safe to say is that there is development going on, and this is part of the broader Windows Server release channel with the long-term servicing releases. That there will be updates. We see this in frequent updates. So we had 3 weeks back an update for System Center, which more like a hot fix because of the security issue, but we saw that very quickly coming through. So and same, we have the update rollups, which we also frequently receive there. So obviously we know that there will be not big leaps forward in some terms of functionality there, but we see still, and my colleague actually told me today from a customer who just like ramp up a complete new SCOM environment. They never done SCOM before. It is, and that's maybe I think important. Those who use Windows Server, for those it is really a great monitoring platform, and it comes at a competitive price, and it comes also at a sovereign solution. So it does not require that you feed all your data, your connections, your networks into a public cloud offering. So you own the monitoring, and you run the monitoring and operate it. So that is often today a great benefit, actually, not to be underestimated. So that's what I think also will drive the future of the solution and customers adapting it.
Thank you. Another one, I think probably primarily for you, Christian, is we've heard a lot about vSphere, VMware today, Broadcom's hypervisor environment, and obviously the demo that you guys were showing was around that. What about other hypervisors?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Thank you for that question. So, well, we all know about Broadcom, and everybody has a bit their stand on that. So, because we have customers who fully committed on Broadcom VMware and rolled it out and work with that, while for others, depending really on their licensing model and the industry type, it is basically not an option anymore to work with VMware together. So they're migrating to other hypervisors. And obviously, if you have been using a hypervisor for years and want to move away from it, it's a major project. And not only migrating actually the operations, the VMs, also the monitor needs to be migrated. And you have tuned that for years, and you go to a new monitoring platform when you need to do that. So we have running a couple of projects right now where we actually help customers to migrate the monitoring of the hypervisor platform, like in this case VMware, to either Nutanix, Xen, Proxmox, or also Hyper-V in that environment. So there's the major ones we're seeing is actually Hyper-V and Nutanix. Some go to Proxmox or Xen, depending a bit on the workloads, what is on there. There's another one which we have in our portfolio, which is a bit more, let's say, specific to the environment, which is Power VM. For those who are using IBM and rely on the Power environment, it is actually a very attractive platform. We have seen customers moving over to that, especially if they're having a lot of Linux and open workloads, because it's very competitive. IBM has its own architecture, has its own memory, and it's very competitive at this point. So we also have that in a larger number of accounts to that type of hypervisor. But again, the point is we have more like a set of parameters based on our experience doing monitoring over 25 years now at NiCE, where we know what and how we tune this in larger environments. So we take that from one monitoring solution to the other. In that case, also it applies to hypervisor monitoring.
Great. So we've got about a minute left, guys. So I'll give you 30 seconds each on this one. This will be the final question, which is probably my favorite. What other products would I look at other than SCOM or Orchestrator? What would I do instead of System Center? And I know you run against this because people validate, you know, is it still right to be on System Center? Customers look at their strategies, but let's give you 30 seconds each on that one. Greg, do you want to go first?
Yeah, well, if you're looking alternatives to System Center, well, from a monitoring point of view, I'm seeing a number of people going into things like SolarWinds and other things. So from a monitoring platform, there are other tools available. We have integrations into a number of those monitoring platforms already, both from Orchestrator, but more importantly from Azure Automation, which is the direct Microsoft equivalent to doing Orchestrator outside of the System Center. So that's cloud as a service platform, no upfront licensing, it's all consumption based. And the consumption costs are $0.002, pounds, euros per execution minute. Yes, you did hear me right. That is 0.2 of a cent per minute. Turn that to a real number. That's about, if you had it running constantly every minute of every day for a month, that would cost you $90, 90 euros, 90 pounds a month. So incredibly cost effective to use Azure Automation instead of Orchestrator. So that's a straight platform, but we can also help you with things like Logic Apps and similar. You can even do bits around Power Automate, although that's less capable in the IT space. But there are plenty of options around doing things without System Center that we can guide you and migrate you over to.
Great, thank you. Christian?
Okay, yeah, just in short, follow your company strategy. If you're cloud first, do cloud first. If you're more in an industry that requires to be a sovereign and to be in control of your entire infrastructure, legal-wise, also operation-wise, then pick the solution in that space. So I think in both areas there are solutions, but I think that is what is very important today to pick the solution. We see both, we are doing migrations project from SCOM to open source platforms in the direction of Nagios, CheckMK, Zabbix, and those, but we also see Dynatrace, Datadog, and Splunk migrations. So all of this, we help our customers going there because we have been working on that monitoring for years. So that's what I see. But again, many actually still rely on this. And as I said, we see new deployments in that case, and that basically ties us back to the beginning where we say, we still invest in this and will invest in this System Center suite to be actually best of breed here, even if Microsoft leaves holes in there, but we're here to fill and help you.
Lovely, thank you. Well, we're out of time now, guys. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you everyone for attending. Hope you found it useful. If you do have further questions, please reach out. I think you've got another slide, Greg. We would be delighted to respond to the emails that you've had from your registration emails. We'll pick those up and be happy to take any further questions. And with that, I would wish you a good rest of the day.